In this video, I'm going to share a very important lesson. And it took me 2.5 years, in fact, more than 2.5 years and 2.4 lakhs to learn this lesson. And in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to share. And I'm also going to talk about what I did to overcome that mistake, to learn from that mistake so that I never become victim of that mistake ever again in my life. And I promise that 99% of the people are still doing this mistake, and going forward in their life, they are going to keep doing this mistake. So if you do not really want to be that person, and if you do not really want to have a longer journey when it comes to achieving your goals, then this video is for you. So in this video, we will be covering two things. Number one, a mistake that cost me 3 years and 2.5 lakhs of money. And second, how I overcame this mistake. So let's move forward. So first, let's talk about the mistake that cost me 3 years and 2.4 lakhs of money. So the mistake might seem super simple to you, but this is something that I had suffered till date a lot, and I truly believe that going forward, the amount of people who are gonna make this mistake will be huge because we are having a lot of options, we are having a lot of uh, information overload. There are a lot of good people out there, and that is creating a lot of confusion. So the mistake I'm referring to here is not sticking with one thing long enough. Now you might be thinking, okay, this mistake, Suraj, seems too small. I don't think that would be, if you think that this won't be that of a big of a mistake, let me tell you with my with the example and with my story that how exactly this mistake can ruin your life if you don't correct it right now. So to make this short, let me give you a small journey, my small story of let me give you a small glimpse of my entire journey so far. So in the last 3 to 4 years, I have spent a lot of money and a lot of good amount of time on courses, thinking that the next course would be that one secret or that one magical pill which will change my entire life. So what exactly used to happen is every single time I used to pick one course, I used to complete that in no time. And but what really happened is while I was doing that one course, obviously I was getting another recommendation of a lot of other courses on YouTube's, Instagram ads, a lot of these stuffs. So I used to fall prey to all of those courses and everything. So every single time what I used to feel like whenever I used to attend these webinars and courses, I used to feel like, okay, this is that one moment. This is a mentor who can really help me to make that shift. But what really used to happen is everybody used to give me that knowledge, but I was not aware that how exactly I need to implement that knowledge and how exactly I need to twist that as per my need. Nobody used to teach that because after all these are courses. These were not like one-on-one support. And what usually, and because of this, nobody really told me that you need to pick one thing and you need to go all in that. And as a result, every single time I had a difficulty, I used to think that this is just not going to work and let's buy another course. So this is what I used to do. So now you might have a brief idea that what exactly the mistake I made. So each time I abandoned what I was learning before mastering it, I was not mastering one skill, one concept at a time, as I said. And it was just like, hopping from one mountain to another without reaching at the top of any mountain. And this mindset was also shown in trading as well. So I'm not just talking about the courses, but I'm also talking about the strategy as well, because in trading you need to have one strategy. But in my case, I used to have a lot of mentors. Every mentor will give you like couple of strategies, and every single time what I really used to do is, if one strategy is not giving me that good enough of results in a very small sample size, so I used to drop that. So this is what used to happen with me in trading as well. And a lot of traders and even people who I have seen that they still till date they make a lot of mistakes like this. So this is a short journey of my last few years in terms of this mistake. So now let's talk about what is the cost that I had paid to learn this lesson. So the cost was mainly divided into three parts because these are the things which matters a lot to me. Number one is obviously the time, because money you can make again, but time, if not spent wisely, you are not gonna get it back. So I wasted potential 2 to 3 years of my life, which could have been dedicated to one thing. But when I say this, I have no regrets, of course, because you cannot really do anything with regret. I took this as a lesson, I move forward, and now that's what I'm trying to do, because I truly believe that this mistake is something that a lot of people are gonna make going forward in life, and a lot of people might be making even today. So this I feel like it should be my moral responsibility, it should be my job to help all those people out who, or at least give them that awareness that okay, look at right now, this could be a potential cycle which you are currently in. So coming back to the topic, so the first cost I had to pay was in terms of time. Second was in terms of money. I spent almost like what, 2.5 lakhs so far in doing courses and everything, and that too without getting a decent ROI. Of course, I learned a lot. Have grown a lot. But if you talk about growth in one aspect, I've just become jack of all trades without being master of one. This is what I truly believe, that this is what has happened. And obviously, because I didn't pick one thing and went all in that, I didn't had a major growth in terms of any particular area of my life. I lacked that mastery. So now let me give you a very beautiful example, and if you have not understood the importance of not making this mistake, then this example will explain everything in very simple manner. Even a 5-year-old would be able to understand this. So chasing new strategies and abandoning one thing and going for the next thing is just like, planting seeds and abandoning seeds. What do I mean by that? So imagine you plant a seed in your garden, and every time a seed starts to sprout, you abandon it and you plant a new one, because you are just not patient enough. You believe that this seed is not showing any sign of growth, so I should probably dig it out and I should probably plant a new one. The seed might be spoiled, or the seed is just not good enough. But that's not the case if you are somebody who have a little bit of common sense, because growing takes time, and so is your case as well. Every single time you're gonna pick one thing, you are not gonna see the result immediately. And this is a very lame, but this is something that, this is a very common sense, that this is how the world works. But when it comes to our day-to-day life, we actually do not practice that. So this is something that I had suffered with for a good amount of time. And obviously, as a result, we will have no fruits, we will have no flowers, and the entire effort will be wasted. So this is the cost that I had paid. And this is that analogy, or this is that example that I want you to stick with. I want you to remember till the very last breath of your life. So now let's talk about what was that moment, or how exactly I overcame this mistake. So deep down, before I talk about how exactly I overcame this mistake, I would say it was not like I was not aware about the mistake that I was making, but until and unless I saw this video of Alex Hormozy where he talks about 5 stages of change, I was not really aware that the kind of mistake I was making, which is very normal, and that is just a part of the journey. So if you are not already aware about this 5 stages of change, by the way, I highly recommend watching that video. I will tag that video in my description link. If you can go through that and you can watch that video is a game changer. But for now, let me give you a quick overview of what exactly this concept is. So whenever you're gonna pick one thing, anything, it can be you joining a gym, it could be you starting your business, it could be you picking to learn a particular skill, it could be anything. So whenever you pick something new, so you will be very excited, you will be very optimistic, you will be very optimistic that okay, I will do this, I will do that, I will kill it, I will bring exponential results. So you will be very excited. So this stage is the first stage, which is called as uninformed optimism. But as you try to do it, as you are into couple of hours, couple of days, So you start to feel like, okay, this is not as good as I used to think, and this has a lot of downside as well, and it's just not that easy. So you will start developing that pessimism, but you will still try to do it. But then you will reach this huge down curve. You will have this huge drop in your motivation level because now you are working, but there is not even a tiny bit of result that you can see. And that will make you feel, okay, this is just not my thing and this is just not going to work, because most people do not have the patience and they do not realize that this is the part of the process. So you will hit that valley of despair. So every single time, what used to happen in my case was, I used to hit this valley of despair, and and this is the moment where you will start chasing new opportunities, new trading strategies, new courses. So every single time I used to hit this valley of despair, I used to go back to the first stage. Again, I was uninformed, optimized. I had that optimism, and second was pessimism, and again the third stage. So the thing is, most people don't pass this valley of despair and reach informed optimism, because valley of despair takes a lot of time. If you just put like this particular rule, 90 days, if you can commit one thing for 90 days, you will see some sort of informed optimism. But most people doesn't do not have this luxury of experiencing that informed optimism. So this is the rule that I am currently following, and I highly recommend you to follow this one rule, that is, whenever you're picking one thing, just stick with it for 90 days without expecting any results. Of course, whenever you are making mistakes, when you're trying to do that one thing, you should learn and improve, but you should go through that process for at least 90 days and you will experience this informed optimism. And once you are again past that 90 days, you will also experience that goal achievement as well. And this can be anywhere between 1 to 3 years as well. So this is the 5 stages of change that completely transform my life. And this one rule as well that can also help you to avoid going from one thing to the another without mastering that one thing. And of course, this one concept is something that I learned in trading. Is it goes for sales as well, and it goes for anything in life. So let's say, uh, if even if you, let's say, very simple example, let's take a very simple example. So let's say if you have a coin, obviously there are two probable outcomes that you can get when you flip a coin. It can either be tails or it can either be heads. So let's say if you only flip the coin for 2 times, and both of the 2 times you get heads, so does that mean whenever you're gonna flip the coin you will not get a tail? No, right? Because the sample size is quite small. So whenever you are trading a new strategy, whenever you're starting with a strategy, if you're gonna judge yourself just based on 2 trades or 2 sample size, obviously you're gonna feel like a loser. But let's say if you flip that coin for 100 times, then the outcomes will be distributed into 50-50 part. So that is the average, which is something we call as a law of average. It's just like, when you see Virat Kohli, he doesn't score 100 in every single match. Still, his average is around 58, if I am right, in ODIs. So this is the same concept that you can apply everywhere, whether it's in trading, whether it's in sales, or any other thing that you are doing. So basically, according to this concept, you just need to put a lot of reps, and then you should judge yourself. So if you really want to solve this problem, there are 3 things that I would highly suggest you to do. First, stick with one thing for 90 days. Always remember this 5 stage change of graph, 5 stages of change graph, and obviously remind yourself that you need to put in the reps and you need to have a large amount of sample size before you judge yourself. So now that's it for this video. Let's summarize whatever we have learned. First, I talked about how exactly shiny object syndrome will waste your money and, more importantly, your time, which you can use to make the progress with your one thing. And obviously, it's one thing. Second thing which I discussed is how exactly you can overcome this mistake. And the number one thing that I want you to do is just remember 5 stages of change. That concept is game changer, and just stick with one thing for 90 days. And always remember that you need to have large enough sample size before you quit one thing. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope if you are somebody who is committing this mistake, this video would be that reminder for you. And if you are somebody who do understand the importance of this video, then do share with the people whom you believe are going through this mistake and can literally waste a lot of time and money. And I just do not really want anybody to, have this, go through the same mistake which I have gone through. Because literally, for me, it was 3 years. For some people, it can be 30 years, and for some people, it can be their entire lifetime.